such a blessing. I thank my God, God, yeah. Big body, big body, big body.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Hey, I can hear you. We are youth. Good morning. Yes, people from the back. Good morning. Yes, I need to see your hands up. Good morning. Oh, you just want me to speak in French. Can I try French? Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Habari gani? So now we're just going to have a competition, right? My name is Ernest Mujisha, and I would like to introduce the agenda of today. But before I introduce the agenda, I would like us, first of all, to have some energy in the room, because this is Youth Connect. So I don't need to see people just standing, seated like this. No, we just need some energy in the room. Are we together? So I need this side. I say Youth Connect, then you clap once. Is that true? Are we together this side starting from those people who are seated right in the corner. So I say Youth Connect, you just clap once, okay? Youth Connect! Youth Connect! Youth Connect! Perfect. So now, the people in the middle, we are going to clap twice. I say Youth Connect, then you clap twice. Are you ready? Youth Connect! Youth Connect! Youth Connect! Great. So, those people over there, oh my goodness, I can't even see you guys. Are you even here? So, to prove that you are here, I want you to be the best. Correct? So, we are going to clap 3 times. Are we ready? Youth Connect. Youth Connect. So now, all together, I'm going to say Youth Connect, then we clap 3 times, all of us. Correct? 1, 2, 3. Youth Connect. Wow, that's great. So if I can maybe rank all of us who are the winners, thank you so much for making it today. So I'd like to take you through the agenda of the day. Here, as we are seated in here, this is the auditorium. I think everybody knows about that. So we are having a session called Youth Workforce for Social Impact. This is by UNICEF. Then in MH1, we'll be having a session called Les jeunes dans le commerce, entrepreneuriat et accès des jeunes au financement. This is by Youth Connect Burkina Faso. Then in MH2, we'll be having a session called Harnessing Roles of Young People in Agri-Food Systems through Radical Inclusion. And this is going to be led by Youth Connect Sierra Leone. In MH3, we'll be having a session called Jobs for Youth through Innovative Skilling, and this is going to be led by the Pan-African Youth Union. In MH4, we'll be having a roundtable on bridging skills and education to employment. It will be led by Peza Hab and Jeffa. In AD12, we'll be having a session called Innovate to Elevate Youth Solutions for Africa Agri-Food Systems. It will be led by Africa Youth Business Council. In AD11, we'll be having a session called Egumi Hub, Jobs for Youth through Innovative Skilling. This is by the African Union Commission. In AD10, we'll be having a session called Speed Peer Mentoring for Young Entrepreneurs, Agripreneurship, My Story. This is by FAO. Then by 11:30, we'll be having another session called Thrive Together, Elevating Youth Health for Brighter Africa. And this is by African Union Commission, UNFPA, Imbuto Foundation, UNICEF, and UNAIDS. In MH1, that's 11:30, we'll be having another session. It's in French, and my French is the best one in the world. So make sure that you listen to this carefully. Partagez d'expérience sur la politique tchadienne en matière de jeunesse. I'm not sure if I pronounced that well, but I think you got it. And that's by Youth Connect Chad. Then in MH2, we'll be having another session. It's called Remote Work Opportunities Sessions, and this is by Umurava. Can we clap for our partners? Let's put our hands together, please, for all the partners making this possible. Thank you so much. So now I'd like to welcome Amanda, our very best MC of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Amanda, please.
Hello, hello, hello. Can I get a hello? I can't hear anybody, and it's making me nervous. Can I get a hello? Hi. Everybody good? Say, hey, Miss Carter. Say, hey, Miss Carter. That too works. Amanda works. So, I'd like to welcome you all yet again to a wonderful event today. Today, we will be talking about a youth workforce for social impact, right? So, this is about us, basically. This is our time to shine, and this is our time to talk about what we want to do in the society. So, I want us to give ourselves a round of applause because we made it. That is insulting, bro. That's insulting. I want another round of applause. All right. So my name is Amanda Akaliza, and I am your host for today. Thank you for having me. And I'm delighted to announce that we are here today thanks to UNICEF and a bunch of young people. I would like us to give a round of applause to UNICEF as well. Thank you. I'd like to also thank the participants who came in, the partners. I'd like to thank the organizers, educators, and different representatives from different organizations. Another round of applause, please. Now, I know we are a room full of young people, but we are also a room full of young African people, and I love to see that. So I'd like to ask who's out there. So if I call your region, please give a loud shout to represent yourselves, all right? So if you're from East Africa, shout. Come on, my East Africans. Don't do me dirty like that. Again, East Africans. Okay, okay, okay. How about the West? Yeah, I like that. That was good. Do we have the North? Okay, that's fine. And do we have the South? Yay! Okay, I think the South wins tonight. I think the South wins today. Oh, that's wonderful. All right, so without further ado, I would like to welcome our very first speaker who will give the opening remarks. Please welcome Juliana Lindsay, representative of UNICEF Rwanda.
I think I need to get on my tiptoes. All right, good morning, everyone. It really is a pleasure to be here. A very warm welcome to all of our partners, our youth representatives who are joining us here today. Undoubtedly, these youth representatives are our most important change agents across the continent. And we know that Africa stands at a critical, you are so kind. Murakoze Janni. Woo, that's kind of cool. All right, thank you so much. Now I feel like a grown-up. We know that Africa stands at a critical juncture. And as we have been hearing over the past few days, during the summit, by 2050, it is projected that Africa will have the world's largest youth population and labor force, offering a potential demographic dividend for the continent and the world as a whole. Yet as it stands, the majority of youth in Africa still find themselves not in employment or education or training. And this challenge is severely impacting the health and well-being of young people. The COVID-19 pandemic reduced access to essential health and social services and increased anxiety about livelihoods. And poor health, including mental health in turn, can lead to poor productivity and occupational attainment. When you're frustrated and depressed, you just don't perform as well. That's understandable. So addressing young health and well-being is vital for unlocking Africa's demographic dividend and ensuring that young people can fully participate in and benefit from economic opportunities. UNICEF's new Africa strategy, in collaboration with the African Union, Generation Unlimited key stakeholders, and many others, proposes the creation of a robust youth workforce, a transformative response to the opportunities and challenges ahead, with the target of skilling and connecting millions of young Africans with employment, entrepreneurship, and social support opportunities by 2030. The idea of Africa's youth workforce represents a bold, innovative, and unprecedented approach to youth empowerment in Africa, resulting in a triple bottom line: youth economic empowerment, community and national development, and global impact by contributing to the SDGs. And through the new Africa strategy, UNICEF's Generation Unlimited will build on its unique public-private youth partnership model in Africa to convene key partners, whether the EU, governments, private sector, civil society, with youth to catalyze sustainable development and economic growth in Africa. As some of the most influential game changers in Africa, your presence here signifies a collective interest and contribution to fostering innovation, driving sustainable economic growth, and transforming gender inequalities to more effectively and positively impact Africa's youth. We, as UNICEF and Generation Unlimited, will continue to call on public and private sector leaders to accelerate action and sustain investments for a healthier, brighter, and more prosperous future for Africa's youth, with our sights set on their boundless and untapped potential to make a difference. Murakoze cyane.
Okay. Thank you so much, Juliana Lindsay. I would like to first say thank you for UNICEF's support for the youth and everything that you've mentioned you're about to do for us. We greatly appreciate it. So right now, I believe we'll be having a Slido. Does anyone know what that is? The Slido? All right, let me explain a little bit. So basically, I'd like everyone to take their phones out. I'll give you some time. Now scan the QR code you see on the screen. And you will be answering a few questions on the Slido. I'll give you guys some time to answer them, and we'll get right back to it. Tech, if there are any answers you can see coming up, please help us and put them up there. That would be a really interesting thing to see. So, the three questions were only after education, university, and fully professional roles, young people can be effective members of health and education workforce. If you said it's true, please put your hand up. If you said that's false, yes, I'm sure many of us have felt it in the community. It's not only education that gets us through, there's many more things that come with it. So the answer is, it's false. Young people with the right skills, supervision, and support are effective change agents. Who said that's true? Did any of us play the game? No? That's true. Who said it was a lie? Okay. Well, it's the truth. So, as we all know, again, you require a bit of support to get to where you want to get to, right? As young people, we need mentoring, we need supervision, and all the like. So, it's actually true. Lastly, young people can bring fresh perspective and innovative solutions to health and education challenges, even without formal professional roles. Who said it's true? Who said it's false? You can do anything you put your mind to, right? Already, we have technology, we have experience, and the world is just changing in terms of how we are able to progress in the workforce. So the answer is true. So we're on to the next session. Are we still alive? Are we still alive? I need a little bit more. You know, like, usually for me to keep going, I need people to scream. It's like my energy. So let's do this one more time. Are we alive? I said, are we alive? Nice. Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll hear some personal stories from the youth change makers in the region with practical examples of successful models and the experiences and skills developed. Please welcome me in welcoming Ms. Karabo Veronica, a young mentor mother from Help Lesotho. She inspires and empowers young mothers through leadership, support, and advocacy for education. Please give her a round of applause as she comes onto stage. Ms. Karabo. Thank you, thank you. And she's looking gorgeous. Let's give her another round of applause, please. All right, next we'll be having Rumbi Chidora. She is a technical assistant from Zvandiri from Zimbabwe. Sorry. Currently working in South Sudan. Please help me welcome Rumbi. And look at that dress. Yes. All right. Okay, they'll be up here. I'll invite Nicholas to come and continue with the following ladies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. A round of applause for Amanda. Our beautiful young people who are seated here, please take your seats. Very excited. I'm very excited that I don't have to, So I'll just use the stage and enjoy it and feel very confident. Before getting into hearing this beautiful success stories from our young people, I would like us to first do a quick pulse check in who is in the room, okay? Can I see a shout or see a hand? Do we have young people in the room? Young people? By show of hands? Yes? Yes? Oh, is this group way older? Interesting. Okay, great. Do we have civil society in the room? By show of hands? Civil society? Partners? Okay, wonderful. Do we have government officials in the room as well? Our dear policymakers? Wonderful. Looks like I'm in the right room. Very exciting. My name is Nicholas Nwagaba, and I work for UNICEF, East Africa and Southern Africa Regional Office. And my role here today is very simple. My role here today is to actually frame our conversation around the youth workforce for change, for social impact. And just to start off, we've all heard from all these wonderful sessions that we've been seated into that Africa has a very huge youth bomb, right? 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 Let me throw in some statistics to give you context. By 2030, Africa will have the youngest youth working age, okay, in the entire planet. Imagine that, okay? That aside, by 2050, children and young people will be calling this sub-Saharan African region their home. Now, these aren't just statistics. These aren't just numbers. This is our future workforce. Come with me on a journey. We are standing at a crossroad today, okay? We have an immense opportunity and also a substantial risk that we are facing. Today, we can choose to invest in skills development and human capital and transform millions of lives. Or we could choose to take the risk and ignore the chance and then live in a future that is plagued by inequality, unemployment, and generational poverty. I guess this is something we all don't want. Let's face the facts here. This huge youth potential is untapped, okay? This is where we are today. We've seen that many young Africans do not have access to education or don't have the skills that they are required to be able to thrive in this economy. But also the fact that this same population does not have access to continuous learning and to continuous training opportunity, they end up unemployed, they end up trapped in working poverty, or they end up in informal sectors, right? We see the numbers on the screen. You know, every single year, 1 million young Africans enter this labor market. But only one out of the 4 is able to get a formal job. But beyond that, when you look at the numbers from last year, 2023, we had over 53 million young people who were not in education, they were not in employment, and they were not in training. One asks the question, where were they if we are serious about this youth workforce for social impact? Where are the young people in this particular category? And just to add one more thing, it is so true that 80% of that 53 million that you're seeing today are the most vulnerable young people in our society. And these are young people that are displaced, young people living with disabilities, the poorest that are living in the rural communities. This aside, we are far off achieving the SDG targets that we have. We heard from the opening remarks that a healthy young population contributes and have an opportunity to participate and give us the development and the impact that we want to see. But we are far off these targets. With only 6 years, imagine, to be able to achieve this. Africa, the region where we are, has the highest unintended teenage adolescent pregnancy globally. Sub-Saharan Africa is still the home of very many young people living with HIV. Most interestingly, 60% of those young people do not have or have access. So we have about 40% that actually don't have access to life-saving treatment. What is the future of that 40% young person that we are talking about? That aside, our health systems and social structures are under-equipped. We aren't prepared for this. This is such a big population, and it's multiplying every single day. Interesting statistics are showing us that by 2030, we'll have a shortfall of 6.1 million health workers. Meaning, by 2030, if you go to a health facility, you will not find a health worker to be able to give you the service that you need to live and lead a healthy life. Interesting fact, right? Okay, enough of this grim reality. Let's talk about what we need to do. And I think that's why we are here. Let's talk about what we need to do to be able to change this story. Young people, we've had through this entire sessions, through this entire summit, that young people have the potential to be catalysts of change, okay? The immense energy that they have that we can actually tap into to be able to deliver the change and the impact that we need. Okay? And throughout this entire region, we've noticed that young people aren't just at mere talk that we're saying, or tokenistic nature that we keep on saying. Young people are already stepping up, and they are leading the change in many of the several countries to deliver impact across multiple sectors, be it health, be it education, be it environment, sustainability, across all these sectors. And ladies and gentlemen, today we have an opportunity of wonderful stories that we'll be hearing throughout this entire session of evidence where young people are stepping up to create that impact. And I want us to go on that journey and continuously reflect what that looks like. Okay? To start off from the regions where UNICEF has invested in peer-driven models, we've seen success. For the young people that have been trained and upskilled across health, across education, we've seen the real impact that comes as a result of that. Okay? The evidence speaks for itself. Today we'll be hearing success stories from South Africa, from Lesotho, from Malawi, and Kenya as well. Just to give two particular examples. When we supported the peer mentor-mother model in South Africa and in Malawi, we were able to see a lot of outcomes from that. And let me explain the model quite quickly. So young mentor mothers are trained to be able to provide support to other mentor mothers. And as a result of that, we saw that the support that they were giving the mothers contributed to a tremendous change in impact, right? You can see the status on the screen. 33 young mothers that were trained were able to support 14,000 young mothers in that particular community. And I'm happy to say that as a result, we saw an increase in antenatal and postnatal attendance, but beyond that, we also saw that there was a huge change in behavior amongst the young people, particularly increased contraceptive uptake and many other health outcomes of that. In Zimbabwe, for example, and we'll be hearing the story, where young community adolescent supporters were trained and given the skills to support young people living with HIV. And for that particular model, we saw that the young people living with HIV that were supported were adhering to their treatment and most likely to live longer, hence reducing mortality. So all of these are very exciting, and I picked on health. I can give one more on education. In Kenya, for example, where we have youth change agents, we had over 600 that were trained, upskilled, and were given opportunity to be able to create impact in their community. And I'm happy to say that over 62,000 young people were enrolled, re-enrolled into school, and they were able to deliver and go back to school and acquire the skills that are necessary. Here's the big idea, okay? Imagine if we could create a pathway that provides an opportunity to young people not only to acquire the skills that they need, but a pathway that encourages them to be able to acquire and be connected to opportunities where they can actually apply the skills that they have gained to be able to create this impact that we want to share today, okay? And beyond the impact, a pathway that encourages them to earn, which is the most important one. Such a pathway has a triple impact, okay? And this triple impact is projected here. One, for the young people, they acquire the skill, they acquire job experience, and this makes them more employable, but also they earn a living out of that. And on the other hand, for the society, it's the impact we are looking for. The SDG goals that we want to achieve. These young change agents we are creating are leading the way and are helping us to close the gap and to get to where we need to be. And thirdly, for system strengthening. The exciting bit is we create a youth full power force that are helping to close the gap in service delivery across all sectors. As we'll hear today, young peer providers are trained to be counselors, and they're working in our facilities to bring services closer, hence helping us close that gap of 6.1 million. So ladies and gentlemen, as we reflect through this entire session, I would like to invite you to think about what we need to do, what we can all work together on to be able to deliver this. Partners, civil society, private sector, especially you, the young leaders in the room. What can we do? One, to advocate to ensure that such particular evidence PLA-driven models can be integrated within our health systems or within our community systems? Number two, how do we work together to ensure that these particular approaches are funded, okay? And in this, not only looking at donors, but also looking at our government and our leaders that are in this room. How do we commit to take this action further and make sure that we have a healthy, but also a very empowered social outcome? So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give an opportunity to the amazing, wonderful young people here with us to share some amazing stories. Over to you, Amanda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicholas Niwagaba. Nicholas is a public health expert serving as the HIV/SRHR specialist at UNICEF's East and Southern African Regional Office in Nairobi. Thank you so much for the points that you made today. To make it quite simple, we are a youth that is ready to serve. We are a youth that has energy, a youth that has purpose and motivation, and all that we require is a path. We have seen the numbers and they are stagnant. 1 million people per year, if I'm correct, and only a very few of us, 1 out of 4, make it into the workforce. Yet if we had all of that put together, imagine the Africa that we would have, right? The Africa that we would have that would be bright and just plain moving forward. So I ask you all to pay attention to the people who came here today to speak on their own experiences, to speak on how they were able to get to where they got to. And to the partners here tonight, please continue to listen to us young people. We have solutions and we are ready to give them. So kindly, let's welcome the moderator for tonight, who will be asking the lovely two ladies a few questions. If I may have Jean-Claude. Let's give a round of applause for Jean-Claude. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to invite our speakers who is going to share their successful stories. And I would like to invite Kalabo on the stage. Thank you so much.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Karabo Veronica Khachane. And today, I'm representing Lesotho in the Youth Connect Africa Summit 2024. I would like to thank this golden opportunity today to share with you the key areas and the journey with Help Lesotho. So one of you may ask, what's this Help Lesotho? Help Lesotho is supported by UNICEF, and it is a dedicated organization working to empower youth and vulnerable people through different programs that promote education, health, and human rights. I am a young mother who got married at the age of 20 and gave birth to a very handsome boy in 2021. Anyway, it was very challenging to meet my needs and demands and deal with my studies as well. It was somehow giving me something like a cognitive dissonance. I felt like schooling wastes time, and I had a lot of regrets. But you know what? Help Lesotho came in, and then that's when I joined Help Lesotho. So Help Lesotho held so many sessions, meetings, of which I engaged positively. Therefore, today, I am a young mentor mother who guides, who supports, or who acts as a support system facilitator for young mothers facing challenges that some of them are similar to those I have experienced. I also assist them navigate decisions related to either sexual or reproductive health or even self-development. Ladies and gentlemen, in Southern Africa, 2 in 5 girls become pregnant before the age of 18. Many pregnancies are unintended, and they include complications during childbirth, and then they even contribute to infant mortality. Help Lesotho has been tackling these challenges through the Empowering Youth Mother in Rural Lesotho model or program, which ran from 2018. This reached over 750 young mothers in rural districts, namely Tabatseka and Butabute. The focus is to improve the sexual and reproductive health, HIV prevention, and support the well-being of each young mother and their children. Ladies and gentlemen, the model or the program was organized around 6 focus areas that provided a holistic solutions to the challenges mothers face. One being a psychosocial support. And this one, we provided emotional and mental health support. And then we helped young mothers deal with psychological stresses of early motherhood, family rejection, and stigma they face in their communities. And the second one is health. So the project emphasized reproductive and maternal health education and access to health care services. Then there is nutrition. We educated young mothers on healthy feeding practices for both young mothers and their children. We ensured better health outcomes for their families. Another one is social protection. We worked to ensure young mothers and children are protected from gender-based violence, discrimination, and gender equity. Therefore, we created safer and more supportive environments. Then there is education. We provided young mothers with knowledge that they could use in the future for their life in general. And for this one, we have young mothers who enrolled in distance learning, and I'm one of them. I'm now pursuing my degree in media studies. The last one being income generation. Young mothers were trained or are trained to run small businesses for themselves and for income generating activities. We provided them with starter pack. So the starter pack includes the items that young mothers are given to sell in their communities. So we made sure that the items are different so that everyone gets profit from what he or she is selling. She is selling. And then so that they support their families. In addition to the 6 focus areas, we also offered a range of activities including community engagement with local leaders, male partners, and the government ministries to provide healthcare and education services. So through this program or model, we have very outstanding outcomes from the PS or young mothers. So 99% of young mothers now know their HIV statuses and are free to share any idea or concern regarding HIV, unlike before, where they had no space to share those. And then there is 91% of young mothers who attended pre- and postnatal clinic. There is 82% reported young mothers registering for birth certificates for their children. And lastly, there is 80% of young mothers who are now involved or use effectively contraceptives. Also, personally, through this model, I've acquired a number of skills. So, I've improved in effective communication, teamwork, leadership skills or skill, and public speaking. Maybe that is why I'm here today. So the skills have not only helped me become a better mentor, but also enriched my own life and boosted my confidence. So in the future, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to see myself as an advocate on young mothers. Young mothers or women issues using digital or other platforms to ensure they receive necessary support like other youth groups. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue to work together to empower young people and inspire as well as lift them up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kaurabo, for sharing your story. And it's very inspiring to see how you inspire young mothers through leadership, support, and advocacy for education. And I would like to all of you to check on the Slido so that you can ask one or two questions. Thank you so much. And I would like to invite Lumbizai. She's a technical assistant, Zandiri from Zimbabwe, currently working in South Sudan. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's very exciting to be in front of you. So like you mentioned, I'm from Zandiri. Zandiri is a private voluntary organization in Zimbabwe that is working specifically with children and adolescents living with HIV, ranging from the age group 0 to 24. At the heart of this awesome organization and program, we have young, amazing people who are peer providers, known as community adolescent treatment supporters. These are also young people who are living with HIV, working together with the Ministry of Health and Childcare Zimbabwe to ensure that young people who are living with HIV do not only survive, but thrive with their HIV status. I am proud to have been one of these amazing young people. I was a CATS in the year 2016, and I'm currently living with HIV. For me, I'm standing here. Thank you. For me, I'm currently standing here to say, living with HIV is not an easy thing. I've realized that, and we have had a consultation across 45 countries in Africa, and this consultation, the results showed that young people who are living with HIV are most likely to face mental health issues. And the reason why we have peer supporters within the health facilities is to ensure that we have an integrated HIV care system that is there for young people who are living with HIV. My journey with HIV started in 2006. This is the year that I was diagnosed to be HIV positive. I was staying with my mother, having lost my father in the year 2004. For me, it was not easy. 2 years down the line, I lost my mother also, and I was left in the care of a very old woman who didn't really understand the needs that I had as a young HIV positive person. Trust me when I say I defaulted on my treatment for over 8 years. And I'm a very vocal person. I was easily engaged in youth activities that support young people who are living with HIV. I knew what I needed to do, but I still decided that I am not going to take this treatment. In the year 2016, the program was introduced to the small town that I grew up from. And the healthcare workers, as a measure for them to this girl needs to be back on treatment, they told me, Rumbi, you're going to be trained as a peer provider. For me, this was a job opportunity. I did not see it as a stand for me to support other young people. And for me, when I took this position, I still was not taking my medication. But now, when I became a peer supporter, I realized how so many of young people I lost in the process because they defaulted on their treatment. And the organization I was working with decided, Rumbi, you have to go back to school. I was a very brilliant young person. And it had been 4 years since I left high school, and my peers had already graduated. It seemed difficult. So they took me as an intern, and I went back to school. And I'm proud to say, last year, I graduated with my Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Thank you. I saw myself go higher in the blink of an eye. I'm like, what is happening? From being intern, I went in to be regional mentor. From regional mentor, I'm currently a technical expert supporting South Sudan to develop and expand and scale up their CATS model in South Sudan. Thank you. I have also supported 12 other countries on top of the 14 countries that we are supporting as Zandiri in adopting or adapting the Zandiri model. If you are to look at it, young children who are living with HIV, who are receiving care from peer providers, have a 60% higher chance of doing well on treatment, thriving mentally, and they have got good mental and viral load suppression. Ladies and gentlemen, as I stand here, the main skill that I have received and the main skill that I have acquired being peer provider and ultimately technical expert to supporting countries adopting the model, the power of mentorship. I could have not been here had I not had a group of people from Zandiri supporting me to take up on the roles that I have. For me, mentorship is not only about providing information on what you're supposed to be doing as a peer provider. It is not only about service delivery that the peer providers are giving. As peer providers, we are not superhumans. We have our downfalls. Already, we are facing a lot living with HIV. But as peer providers, if we get mentorship, we are able to look within HIV we are able to look within the social connotations that probably people would never want to associate with us. I'm happy to say, besides me, we have more amazing young people who are living with conditions which everyone around here may say, I don't want this. But we have so many young people from Zandiri across Africa living with HIV, not only surviving with HIV, but also thriving. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lumbizai, for sharing your story. And you can see that we have a story from two amazing experts who shared their stories. So I would like to invite anyone who have a question from the audience to ask this expert.
Hi. So due to time, we will have one question for now, but all your questions can go onto Slido, and right after the panel discussion, we can ask as many as we can. I hope that is okay, but I know there's one person in the crowd who has a question already. If a mic can be handed to them, that would be great. Thank you. Thank you, JC.
First of all, I would like to thank the organizer of this conference. My name is Miriam Opondo. I came from Kenya. I had many presenters here it is really nice. First of all, I'm happy that we are here. But as we are discussing about the inclusivity, where we should leave anyone behind, and youth with disability included in, I'm advocating for about access in all these services, like health services. We, youth with disabilities, we are facing many barriers and challenges on accessing on health services, in education, even on job opportunities. Then I was worried sitting here 3 days, not specifically tackling or touching on that issue, while we are the one who are suffering. And we are leaving the world or Africa where we are moving to the place where we are making Africa, everyone included, no one left behind, including persons with disabilities, especially youth with disabilities. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. If there is any other who have a question, you can put it on the Slido. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. You may take your seat. Thank you. The next session is going to be a panel discussion. We are going to discuss the systems and approach to support impact and enhance skills and career trajectory for youth-driven social impact. And we are going to have an amazing speakers, an amazing panel who is going to share with us their stories, who is going to share with us their expertise. And I would like to invite them, starting from Rebecca Makau, a program manager in the Tshwane District, Gauteng Department of Health in South Africa. Welcome. The second is Rumbizai Chidola, technical assistant at Vandili from Zimbabwe, currently implementing the project in South Sudan. Welcome on board. The third one is Alete Akingeneye, Health and Wellbeing Program Associate at the Women, Gender and Youth Directorate in African Union Commissioner. Welcome on board. The next one is Esther Iradukunda from Community Health Booster in Rwanda. Welcome on board. Last but not the least is Chelsea Cockley, Adolescent Participation Research Lead at University of Cape Town. Welcome on board. Thank you so much for all of the panel. And we are going to have an amazing panel where we are going to discuss different strategies and where we are going to hear from your stories and your expertise. So starting from Rebecca, you are reading as program manager in the Tshwane District Department of Health in South Africa to support the need of adolescents, and you have been success in integrating the young mentor mother model into the government systems. Could you share with us the strategies and the steps you took to achieve this integration? Thank you.
Thank you very much, moderator, and good morning, distinguished guests. I'm quite honored to be part of this session. And yes, we have managed to integrate the Young Mentor Mother program into the government system. We have 24 peer mentors in 16 of our healthcare facilities, and they work hand in hand with the facility staff to provide comprehensive health services to young mothers. And in addition to that, they also provide other key areas of support like screening on TB, They also provide screening on mental health. They provide mental health and psychosocial support, and they also assist with other areas within their scope of work. So through this model, we have managed to see excellent results when it comes to adherence on antiretroviral treatment, as well as a viral load suppression for young mothers that have been recently diagnosed with HIV or those that have been living with HIV. And we also have come a long way in terms of reaching our targets for antenatal care services, and we are seeing a lot of them that are coming to our facilities for this service. We actually started very small and had to build up on evidence-based model looking at the outcomes, and also had to advocate for the expansion of this model to other areas so that we can have the same results that we have seen. And we had an engagement with the implementing partner. That was one of the steps that we did. And as the first step, we discussed the rollout plan on the project plan, and we had to orientate senior managers so that we can get buy-in. And that's where we decided that we need to capacitate the HIV counselors to take up the role of peer mentors. And we then created a selection criteria which we shared with facilities for them to select the candidates. And once that was done, we then trained them. And once training was concluded, then we had to draw up a mentoring plan where we went to facilities to support them together with the implementing partners. So the district collaborated with different stakeholders, and I must say stakeholder engagement and collaboration is very important when it comes to provision of healthcare services, because public health is not a health department issue alone, but we also needed other sectors to come in to assist us to fight the battles that we had in the health sector. And lastly, when it comes to monitoring and evaluation, which is key in evaluating the impact of any program, we prioritize data collection for joint reviews, where we would identify gaps and come up with interventions to close those gaps. And in addition to joint reviews, the mentor mothers are individually evaluated on their key responsibility areas. And I must say the closeout plan from the implementing partner also offered us an opportunity to further engage with managers on how we were going to sustain the program as a department without relying on implementing partners. So as a continued support, we also have a WhatsApp group with these young peer mentor mothers, and that's where we also discuss challenges that they are facing. We share best practices, we share innovations, and we keep them up to date with current affairs.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I would like to ask Irumbi. She has been sharing her stories, and we saw that you become from a peer provider to a technical advisor in South Sudan. And I think that it is very inspiring to see what is possible for peer provider like you. And you highlighted that mentorship is one of the skills that you have developed. And I wanted to know, how has these skills contributed to your career trajectory?
All right, thank you very much for the question. So like I previously highlighted, Zandiri is currently in 14 countries. Of the 14 countries, I've supported 12 countries directly with either training, mentorship, and scaling up the model. And if I am to say, for me, mentorship is not just about providing information on the duties the peer providers have. It is more to do with looking at the abilities that the peer providers have, encouraging them to look and work towards the abilities and talents that they already have. And for me, having to provide mentorship and also working in complex environments, it has helped me to relate well with the governments that are adopting the model. It has also helped me to have a better relationship with even the healthcare providers who are directly working with the peer providers that we have. And it has also helped me to even work with the other implementing partners. I'm currently working with Japaigo in South Sudan. So you realize that For you to be able to navigate through all these systems, 14 countries is not a joke, different contexts, different cultures, different perceptions, and different needs. And for you to be able to navigate throughout all these contexts, you need to have that people skill, that good communication skill, and mentorship skills that are able to provide the needs per country and per requirement. So I'm very much grateful because also with mentorship, it has even helped me as a person in my life decisions, what I want to do. I look forward to studying public health as a master's, and also this is something that I'm imparting on the young people I'm working with, to say besides the conditions we have, there is still more that you can have. And trust me, when you're working with peer providers, if you build the confidence in them, if you're able to help them identify the talents they have, if you're able to bring them on platforms like this, allow them to speak, see people who have already made it, it makes a great impact. We may not change the world in one go, but one peer provider at a time, one young person at a time, we are going to make it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chelsea. Chelsea, as readers, adolescents' participation in research at UCT, you have been working with young research to further understand our peer provider model in our region. How can we create empowering environment for peer provider like Ilumbi and Kalabo? And how have the skills gained generated impact?
Thank you, Jean-Claude. I'm honored and delighted to be here to share work that we're doing with young researchers at the University of Cape Town in South Africa. Research on the work of peer providers like Rumbi and Karabo has shown us the importance of this work for the health and well-being of Africa's youth. Research also shows us that this work is emotionally and physically demanding. So empowering and supportive working environments are really needed to help young people succeed in their work and to support other young people too. This is the triple impact Nicholas was telling us about earlier. So our research has shown us that peer providers can be most effective when they receive a full package of health and well-being services, including debriefing support by professionals with a social work or psychology certification. They should also be given voice, representation, and decision-making roles, as Rumbi pointed out, to improve acceptability and uptake of services. For example, many peer providers are represented in facility and district-level structures, but there are fewer opportunities provided at subnational, national, and regional levels. We know that representation and participation provides a platform for youth to shape policy and practice, to shift systems to be more youth-responsive. Peer providers are also participating actively in program adaptation, improvement, monitoring, and evaluation, as Rebecca said, bringing a unique perspective that has shaped services and systems that are more relevant and effective for youth. Further, comprehensive training and mentorship for peer providers, as well as the health, education, and social work professionals with whom they collaborate, is critical. This enables peer providers to feel supported in their work environment, have access to the guidance and feedback about their work, and also ensures appropriate quality services are provided to young people they support. Some successful initiatives are providing training beyond the minimum requirements of the job, recognizing potential future career pathways for this youth force for social impact. Training should be routine and evolve based on the needs and capabilities of peer providers and those they're supporting. Examples include presentation, financial, entrepreneurial skills, as well as CV building and interviewing. Promising initiatives are also creating formal and informal links to seed funding for businesses, as well as government youth funds. Finally, I want to emphasize the importance of fair remuneration. Our review of scientific evidence, as well as other reviews using highly rigorous methodology, systematic reviews, have highlighted a glaring gap in fair remuneration for peer providers. We must keep in mind that they're doing deeply impactful, life-saving work. This benefits their fellow youth, and they're gaining important skills for themselves that are also valuable to our societies. Jean-Claude, you also asked about skills peer providers are gaining and what this means for impact amongst their fellow youth. Karabo and Rumbi have outlined a lot of this impact already, but peer providers that are called treatment supporters are trained to provide accurate health information, counseling, and support, and they've demonstrated impact in making linkage to HIV services, improving adherence to medication, reducing viral load, and improving self-esteem, self-worth, and quality of life. Also, young mentor mothers have demonstrated impact in making linkage to antenatal and HIV services and reducing internalized stigma. Peer providers, also trained to provide comprehensive sexuality education with links to free health services and products, have shown to improve the uptake of sexual reproductive health services and appropriate use of menstrual hygiene management products. Finally, peer providers trained on psychoeducation have improved feelings of social support and mental health awareness. Other evidence reviews of peer providers' work have influenced structural changes to service quality, reducing wait time for health services, reducing stockouts, and exclusionary practices. Peer providers can be most impactful when they're intentionally paired with health professionals, providing health services and products both to provide support and guide the peer, but also to provide those services for their adolescent supports. Working with caregivers and strengthening referral systems also shows promise for improving effectiveness of peer provider models. And finally, integration with health and community systems takes time and resources and is critical. It should be considered a priority to achieve triple impact. Peer providers can and should be given leadership opportunities to participate actively in shaping decisions and programs that affect their lives. Thank you, Jean-Claude.
Thank you so much. And you say that a peer provider needs leadership and mentorship to make sure that they can achieve a great success. I'm coming to Esther. You and your team at Community Health Booster have been developed a wonderful app that focuses on the young people health and well-being just right here in Rwanda. And you have impacted more than 2,000 young people around Rwanda. As youth change innovators, how are you playing the role in influencing and reshaping systems toward a greater impact? Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So thank you, Jean-Claude. And I would like to thank you all for having us here. So as you mentioned, like young people, especially youth, we are innovating and redefining health system and how it leads and empower youth. So you mentioned the number about over 2,000 and 22,000 and over 10,000 that visited YA Health app that was designed. And I am sure among the audience there is YA Health champion. Am I right? Am I right? Yes, yes, I am sure. So Community Health Boosters, in partnering with Rwanda Biomedical Center, RBC, and UNICEF Rwanda, has designed this youth-friendly application called YA Health app to redefine how youth and adolescents access health information in friendly way, shifting from in-person limited resources to accessible digital platform. This is amazing app where the community health boosters gather the young people, they co-create together, they give feedback, they design how they want it to be, like the information that needs to be inserted in this mobile app. And that feedback was addressed to design the app. The app has become like all-in-one resources that give the information about sexual and reproductive health, mental health, life skills, and also prevention of HIV and AIDS, and also prevention of stigma and stuff. So it's an amazing app, and it gives the information based on age, yes, and not only reaching young people where they are, but they empower them directly to make the informed choice. So it's an amazing app. It's a mobile app. You can access it on web. You can access it on your mobile through Apple Store or Play Store. And I think one of you, I've seen you looking at your phone. Maybe you are downloading it. It's called YA Health. It gives all that information. And we use this, the thing that makes it more shining and more youth-friendly is that we use this youth-centered approach, where young people themselves say they wish that the information they want to be in the app, like what they want them to be, even to the level of the illustration that image using the app are designed by these young people themselves. This make it outstanding and make the people change, especially young people and adolescents, change from the behavior change where they start practicing abstinency, and also from the experience, the young people that use this YA Health app, we call them YA Health champions. have reported the increase in number of these people that go to ask for services at youth corners, at youth centers, and also the HIV/AIDS testing volunteering. Yeah, that's what I could say for this YA Health app.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I think that the people in the room are uploading and downloading that app. So yeah, thank you so very much. And coming to Irate, you have been supporting the implementation of health well-being component of 1 million next level to ensure that youth and well-being needs are recognized, but also their critical role in addressing them. Could you share with us what continental initiatives on the African continent exist to support youth-led innovation, addressing social and health issues that young people face, and how African Union supports member states in implementing those initiatives?
Thank you so much for the question. Distinguished guests, allow me to stand on existing protocols. So at the African Union, we really recognize the contribution of young people in leading the socio-economic development of the continent. And indeed, Agenda 2063, for those who don't know what that is the blueprint that really guides the socio-economic development of our continent. So with Agenda 2063 has 7 aspirations, and aspiration 6 specifically speaks to the discussion that we're having today, an Africa whose development is driven by its people, especially young people and women. So from there, in line with that, in 2019, His Excellency Musa Faki Mahamat, the chairperson of the African Union, launched the 1 million by 2021. And this initiative really was a response to the challenges that young people are facing, especially in terms of education, skills gap, and livelihoods in general. And it was really focused on 4 thematic areas: education, employment, entrepreneurship, and engagement. But when it was done in 2021, there was a lot of success with the initiative, but then there was also recognition that a lot of, with these thematic areas, we can't really achieve them if young people are not healthy. And that's why in 2022, there was a continuation of the initiative called 1 Million by Next Level initiative, which is what you mentioned in the introduction. And with this 1 Million Next Level initiative, there was an addition of health and well-being. So for the purpose of this discussion, I just want to focus on the 3 components. So as we call them the 4 E's plus H, which is education, entrepreneurship, employment, engagement, and health and well-being. So within the health and well-being thematic area, we are recognizing that young people are facing issues in various areas such as sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights, harmful practices, climate change, mental health, and peace and security. But then we also recognize, as we've been mentioning, that there is young people need jobs. So we are looking at reaching 100 million young people, creating 100 million jobs by 2030. And really with this also, we are looking at how our young people are included in decision-making processes, but also areas such as volunteerism. We need to look at volunteerism, for example, as a pathway for young people to gain skills that they may need for employment. And when we talk about education and skills development, we are looking at reaching 60 million young people by 2030 and training them and ensuring them that they have the skills they need to really compete in this fast world the world that is changing. And as we speak, actually, in the African Union Pavilion, there is a mini hackathon that is that is being done there, if you can pass by until 12:30, which is one of the initiative, the African Girls Can Code initiative that is led by the African Union, UN Women and ITU, just to show that there is really appetite at the continental level to ensure that young people, especially young women, are really equipped with the skills they need to thrive. So I think that the next part of your question was how are we ensuring that all these initiatives are really reaching the countries and member states. And I think coming in from the African Union position, we are looking at a continental initiative, but also the success of this initiative really relies on ensuring that it's implemented at member state level. So what we do, but also in ensuring that we are partnering with development partners, young people. Like I mentioned, this is really public, private, and young people multi-stakeholder partnership. So when we go to countries, what we are doing is we are looking at what are the issues that the country is facing. We help them, we also support them in designing the initiative in a way that is really contextualized to their needs. And then there is evaluation, but also reviewing, reiterating the different programs that the country may put in place as we do monitoring and evaluation, and but also the different learnings that we'll get from implementing the initiative. So really, in a nutshell, the young people are really leading, they're the change makers, but also we need to recognize that they need to be supported and ensure that they're equipped with the skills they need to lead the amazing intervention that they're already leading. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ruth. There was a question from the audience, our friends from Kenya, and I just want one of the panelists to answer the question. There was a question about disability and inclusion. So I wanted to know, Lumbizai, I know that you have the experience around that aspect of disability and inclusion. And I just want to know how can we support the young people with disabilities and inclusion to make sure that they can also be included in this social impact.
All right, thank you very much. So what I can say, anything for the youth without the youth is against the youth. And also in terms of young people who are living with disabilities, we should allow them take lead. We know what we need. We know what needs to be done. We know what's not being done. And taking center stage to our own care is key. So I believe that instead of saying inclusion, it shouldn't even be a question to say they are not there. They should automatically be there and be not different at all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your answer. And I just wanted to have all of you, yes.
Thank you for allowing me. I also wanted to add, in addition to what she just said, I think we have, as young people, we have the African Youth Charter, which is a framework that actually guarantees us the rights. So in the African Youth Charter, when you look at it, there is a specific article actually in around inclusion of people with disabilities. So it's a requirement by all the countries and member states to ensure that young people living with disabilities are actually considered and included in all the initiatives and programs that we put together. So I think it's a reminder that we really need to go back to the frameworks and the instrument and ensure that young people's rights are guaranteed and implemented. Thank you.
Hello, sorry to cut it short. I just want to remind us all we have 5 minutes, so if we can get one more question and maybe 2 people to answer it. Thank you very much. If anyone has more questions at the end, the panelists are still around and they're happy to answer. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Are there any questions from the audience? We are going to take one on the Slido. So it is Rumbi and Karabo. How can government better support young people like you to create a social impact? Rumbi.
All right, thank you so much. I think the first step is for government to recognize that we are here and will forever be here. And like I said already, I believe that for inclusion to be there, we are not just supposed to be part of a group, we are supposed to be part of the organizing group. We are supposed to make the decisions for ourselves, and also realizing the potential that young people have. I know sometimes the matter of inclusion has to say we have 5 older people guiding one person, but I think the narrative should change to a point where we say the young people are taking lead themselves, and also policies around inclusion of young people living with HIV, young mothers, individuals living with disabilities should also allow that other people who are not in that group also have the understanding, because sometimes we cannot do it alone. We also need everyone else who's around us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And before we close this conversation, I would like everyone to have 30 seconds to share with us a key takeaways. Thank you. Starting from...
Okay, thank you. My last word would be that stakeholder engagement and collaboration is key in addressing public health issues, like I said earlier on. And yes, we do need support from implementing partners. However, as government, we need to take the lead in sustaining programs. We need national standardization of models. We need standardized SOPs with key aspects on training, supervision, mentorship, and not to have reliance on implementing partners. And lastly, we need to invest in the future of our youth through capacity building so that their career opportunities are expanded. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Stakeholder engagement and investing in the future of the young people. Over to you, Esther.
Yes, thank you. So in my 30 minutes, I'm going to use it like 30 seconds. Am I right?
Yes, 30 seconds.
30 seconds. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds, and I'm going to take 20 remaining. So one thing I want to do with you all in these 10 seconds is I want you to reminisce who you want to be, as in your goal. Your goal, like who you want to be in life. Or you are that one you want to be, like you are already. As in your goal in life. Have you? Are you thinking?
Yes.
So, I want you also to just think about the small steps that you will take to achieve your goals. Are you thinking about that too? Are you? So I think, not sure, but I think among the small steps that you took, there is this thing of maintaining your health. If you want to be like a rich or billionaire, you have to have healthy mind, yes, and also make informed decisions. So as a key message, as younger innovator, I would advise you or remind you guys that, especially young people, that our life, our choice, and the healthier you choose, the better life you live. So if you want a reliable information, you are young people, you want reliable information about mental health, about sexual and reproductive health. You can even track your mental health to see your status, and even your reproductive health stuff. You can use YA Health app to just get reliable and interactive information, especially young people. Are we together in this? The one who are ready to live healthy life, I want to say this. Hey, young people, what do you want? Yes, thank you a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much. Over to Chelsea.
Thank you. I'd like to emphasize that peer providers need fair remuneration. They need training and mentorship outside the minimum requirements of their job, which recognize their future career pathways and the potential they have to positively influence systems and our societies. And finally, leadership roles and decision-making roles, again, to shape societies for the better and for themselves. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Arit.
Thank you so much. I think for me, the key takeaway is that we already have existing frameworks and continental initiative, and it's really up to us as all the relevant stakeholders to ensure that we come together, work together to ensure that the rights of young people can actually fully enjoy their rights. And I think that maybe I didn't mention the 1 million Next Level initiative seeks to reach 300 million young people by 2030. So this is not, for us to reach this goal, it's going to require that we really come together and work together, as my sister mentioned. Multi-stakeholder partnerships are going to be key in ensuring that we reach this goal. So let's ensure that our young people fully enjoy their rights. Thanks.
Lumbi?
Thank you very much. So all I can say is that meaningful change is driven not by the ideal of being superhuman, but being real, resilient, and fully human with support. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is the end of our panel discussion, and thank you so much for each of the panelists. You may take your seat.
What a beautiful, beautiful moment. I would like to thank the panelists for their message today. From the TED Talk that gave us statistics and data as well as solutions, to our successful stories from change agents, and the key takeaway I believe from that was we are not surviving, we are thriving in this moment. To the panelists and their message, I think everything is pretty clear. We have a huge potential for a young workforce. We need to create a path for them to upscale, get connected to opportunities to apply these skills acquired to deliver social impact. These models that were shared here need to be scaled up. It requires resources, leadership, and political commitment. So I welcome each partner, each individual here to really continue this conversation. It does not end here. I believe the youth really, really requires this to keep moving forward. We do not want this to just be a conversation in a conference room. We want to see solutions. So thank you very much for joining us here today. My name is Amanda Akaliza, and please continue enjoying the rest of your day. I'd like to welcome the panelists and all those involved to come to the stage and take a beautiful picture for all of us to see. Thank you again, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. DJ?
Let me down.